if you are on the page, hey Facebook, hey YouTube, hi. So if you are on the page, please like, please share, please like, and please share. As normal, y'all know what I'm doing. I'm sharing out. Please like and please share. I'm going to talk about e-learning tonight. And also turn your phones down because you'll get that feedback.
Yes.
Okay, we are all set. Well, hello, Facebook. It's been over a week. So on June 7th, I wasn't here because I was out of town. And then June, was that the June 1st?
Well, May 31st. May 31st.
May 31st. Okay. So May 31st, we had to cancel because it was just so much happening.
Going on in the world. Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I'm back. I am back. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for sharing. Thank you guys for being here. You are tuned in to the Art of Transparency Talk Show. I am your host, Makita Moore. I've got some amazing women with me. They range from e-learners, e-learning teachers. They are therapists. So we got a plethora of ladies with me tonight. And we're going to talk about e-learning, right? Because I got kind of thrown in there. So for those that don't know, I work for a charter school here in Chicago, Illinois. Amazing job. I am not a teacher. I am more administrative. I work directly under the director of student service. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, I too was not ready for e-learning. Give me 1 second. Okay, I got a fan on y'all because and it's loud in my ear. Don't know if you can hear it. It's loud in my ear. Go ahead and turn it off. So just a little bit of backstory, right? And I'm going to introduce the ladies so they can tell you their story. A little bit of backstory. I got sick on Thursday before all of the school shut down. Mm-hmm. We shut down on a Friday. I got sick that Thursday evening. So Friday, of course, I was like, I can't come in. I called in sick. And it went crazy at the school. So my bosses were on one phone. My, so to speak, second boss is on the other phone. And I'm like, forget it. I'm on my way to the school. And they like, if you come here, you will be fired. I'm like, what? Because you know how important it is or how detrimental it was in the very beginning. And speaking of COVID-19, right? Yep. But I was under the mind frame like, look, this little fever, I don't feel good. I'll get over it to get us ready to go on this 2-week. We gotta go, we gotta leave the school. We can't go to school, da 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 da. So I was like, I'm on my way. You know what I'm saying? Of course, mask wasn't in back, in March. You wasn't wearing no mask. You was just kind of going. So my boss was like, no, ma'am, you will not come here. No, ma'am. I was like, but why? So then it kind of hit me of all the things that was happening, right? It's been since March
17th.
Has it been 17? What's it the 17th?
17th. We left out on the 16th and told not to come back on the 17th for 2 weeks. The lies. We was
somewhere in there. So I got some wonderful women with me tonight, and we're going to talk about e-learning, right? And I titled that because at the end of the day, the kids still had to learn. I got a lady on here, Marquita. She's also on the tour, so you see her a lot, right? She does e-learning for her nursing program. So it's not just the kids, it's everybody. My daughter wants to do nails. And I told her, I said, you got to go to school. I'm a 2-time licensed cosmetologist. You're going to have to go to school. You just can't learn how to do nails and do nails. That's not what we're
Right.
doing. So when she signed up, she was like, well, do you want to, the lady that owns the school, she was like, do you want to wait till e-learning is over, or do you want to come in, and do e-learning? So even, cosmetology, nail techs, all of that stuff is online.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to introduce to some, she's worked with me before. She is one of the therapists of the group, right? Because baby, mental health is real. Mental health is so real. Marquita and I, we tag team with that mental health, right? Mental health is real. But I'm going to introduce to you one of the therapists of the group. Why can't it won't unmute? Can you unmute yourself? There you go. So we call her Frankie Barnes. She has done another event with me. It was the healing event, amazing event. So I reached out to her like, hey, don't you want to do this with me? And then she was like, yes, honey, because this e-learning is not what's up. So I just kind of want you to introduce yourself and where are you in this e-learning thing?
Yes, thank you so much, Makita, for allowing me to be on another one of your awesome platforms. As she said, I met you some time ago as you were sort of getting things started with the Art of Transparency. And so I, thank you for allowing me to be, on your show this time. And so, yeah, so as Makita said, I am a therapist, and I also do some consulting with teachers, during this time, helping them to kind of continue to support their classrooms, but then offering support to them as they're, attempting to do that during this COVID-19 time. And I am a mom of 4. My youngest 2 are 7 and 8. And yes, I was not prepared to be a 1st and 2nd grade teacher at all. So it was definitely a lot going on during this time. I don't know how deep in detail you want me to go, but it was a struggle, as Marquita said, we were thinking that this was just going to be a couple of weeks and everything was going to be back to normal. And then those couple of weeks turned to a month. Oh my God, that 1 month turned in 2. And before you know it, we are like passing them on to the next grade, in our living rooms and in our kitchens. So
yes.
It was just, it was pretty devastating, I would say, in the beginning. For me, yes, but just for my children, they were not prepared to have school at home. School is supposed to be a place to relax and have fun and
away from mom.
Oh yeah, right. Away from mom, me away from them. And it was just like, what are we doing? We jumped on board, by the grace of God, but it was definitely a struggle just trying to, for many of us, work from home and homeschool your children. And if you have
that part right there,
yeah,
I wasn't ready for that. Like that part. Like, so you mean to tell me I have to still do my job and try and figure out this math that they didn't change 7 times? Like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And where are we going to do all of this in our home? It's like one day we're in the kitchen, and like next day we're in the living room, and we're in the bedroom, and they think they're just supposed to be under the covers and do work. And it's just like, no, we have to set some type of boundaries. But it was hard and confusing, for my kids. I'm sure so many of our children just trying to figure out what's home and then what's school when it's all in the same space. So it was quite difficult in the beginning. Yes, it was.
That part.
Yeah.
See, that part. So I am going to introduce to you next, because we are going to get a little bit deep into this, because I want to know what that looks like in your home. And because my house, it was like she said, where do we do this? How do we do this? Because I got Zoom meetings 17 million times a day, right? So if I'm talking on my Zoom and they're talking on their Zoom, and now we just got a whole bunch of noise happening. So my next guest, Evelyn. Now, her and I met, I want to say we were doing I want to say the calendar is where we actually met. I think we were Facebook friends prior to that, but the calendar that I did for 2019 that started in 2018, I want to say that's how we met. But Evelyn, from my understanding, she will tell her story. She has a grandson that is a year old, and she is a teacher. So what is that like?
Oh
Tell
my
us.
goodness. So first of all, thank you for having me again on your show. And we actually met the talk show. It was one of the talk shows with Ebony. That's where we met. Yeah, that's where we met. So
Okay, yay.
so yes, I have a grandson. He is just made 16 months Friday, and I am a instructional leader / coach for the teachers. So my role is to go into the classrooms and observe and just mentor and coach, on lesson plans, small groups, and things like that. And so in the beginning, it was like, okay, what is my role now? We're not in the classroom, we're on Zoom. So we were on Zoom every day, and it was just like, how do I coach and mentor teachers through Zoom? I can't see what they're doing. So then I started participating in their lesson planning, and that's basically doing a lesson plan for the parents to do with the kids who are now the teachers. So
you all don't work on Google Classroom?
No.
Wow. So we are on Google Classroom.
No.
So my other boss, well, she's, what I'm saying, we're kind of colleagues, but she's kind of my boss. She's in your position, but we do Google Classroom, so she can sit in Google Classroom and kind of the same thing she was doing in the classroom, she can do, because she can see them teaching, she can see them going back and forth. So it's a little bit, I guess it's a little bit different from Google Classroom to Zoom. Now we do Zoom as well, but Google Classroom has been our go-to to see what the teachers are doing. I just found out
about Google Classroom, but see, our pre-K program is different from the elementary. They use like Seesaw and iReady and things like that, but we weren't face-to-face with the students because the superintendent didn't want us to be face-to-face. So she was like, okay, you have these students who are now at home, and you might see some things, and we might be, liable, or we're mandated reporters. So she didn't want us to do Zoom.
That makes sense.
So she didn't want us to do any of that. So they were basically just doing lesson plans and sending them, and the kids were logging in and just grading and things like that. However, I am doing the extended school year, which is summer school, but they're calling it extended school year. So I am the summer learning teacher, as they say. And so now they've given us, because the state superintendent approved us to do Zoom. So now I am doing Zoom with the preschoolers now, which is very difficult. So you're talking about some 3, 4, and 5-year-olds trying to sit, and I'm like, yeah, come on guys, let's 3+, and I'm like, okay.
Yes, every morning. School is pretty much over now, but every morning I will ask my daughter, because she's the one that sits at the kitchen table and my grandson goes downstairs in the basement. It's not that many stairs, y'all. It's just like right there. Before I go in the kitchen to get my coffee or whatever, I'm like, your camera not on, is it? Do I need to go upstairs and put on clothes? This is my house. I don't want to get up every morning and put on real clothes. To go to the kitchen and get coffee. That's not fair. But
I get up at 5 o'clock every morning and get dressed like I'm actually going to work, because if I don't, I'm gonna be lounging around. And that's what these kids are doing. They're like laid back on the couch. One kid was on his bed, and it's like, so I have to start over. Okay, we're gonna pretend like this is the actual classroom. They're bringing toys to the computer. They're talking to the friends like, hold on, let's start over. So, going back over the rules, like, would you bring a toy to the actual classroom? No, so going over classroom rules and, let's raise your hand if you have something to say. And because in the beginning, it was just like everybody was talking over each other. Nobody wanted to do anything. They just getting over like, wait, where you going? I'm going to the bathroom. You can't just get up and
Wow. That is amazing.
it's crazy.
Oh my God.
Then I got
Lydia,
the
we
baby
gonna
running
pull
in
you-
here and I'm putting them on my lap and I'm using his toys to like, because I don't have anything here because we shut down. Like, it was like the superintendent kept saying, we might
Yeah.
shut down. She kept
Yeah.
sending these emails, we might.
Yeah.
Like, that Friday, and then we went to work that Monday, and it was like, bam, we closed early for the day. And that was it. So nobody was able to bring, and I'm not in the classroom anyway, so I don't have manipulative and toys. So I have to use the
Yeah.
baby toys. I'm like using the toys right here. He's coming in here grabbing the toys, and I'm trying to.
Like, let me get that back,
Yeah.
Grandma. That's fine. All right,
Yeah,
I
it's
totally
crazy.
get it. I totally get it. Lydia, we're gonna pull you in. Now, Lydia and I met through another friend on Facebook when I posted that we were talking about e-learning and what that looks like. One of my AOT members was like, you need to talk to her. And so her and I have been talking since then. She has a very interesting story. So Lydia, tell us what e-learning looks like in your home.
So thanks for having me. This is such an honor. I've been really looking forward to coming in and talking about this because you need to know we're not in this alone. I too can say that we got the call March 13th it was. And we too thought, and I'm speaking from New Jersey, we thought, okay, we're going to be 2 weeks. And they didn't want to call it a closing. The district was putting on the website that it was, they just were going to suspend it and they were going to do some cleaning. But they didn't want to say the
So
school
did your
was
babies
closed.
go home with work for those 2 weeks?
No, they
Yeah.
not usually, no. There was no
Yeah.
work. There was no work. We went home and then they started scrambling. And then they came up with this closure packet that we had to peruse, right? And just a little backstory of myself, I am the director of a pre-K program.
Okay.
But my other things that I'm affiliated with the district, I'm on the advisory board for the teachers for quality teacher and learning.
Okay.
So immediately they were trying to, all the curriculum, all the teacher coach, I hear you got a teacher coach on, all the head teachers, all the, they all got together to come up with this packet that was only supposed to be for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then they kept giving us increments of 2 weeks. Which were like, what a minute. And then so we came up with the challenges of who had Wi-Fi, who had devices,
Whole nother level.
that was the issue. One of the great things that did happen, the partnership with the cable company, they did give children Wi-Fi access. And so for school hours, they were able to get online.
Yeah.
However, as it was mentioned by one of the other persons on, that if you only had one device, or you only, we all got to be on at the same time, those are some of the challenges. And we were left trying to really get ahead of this. So it has been, and it continues to be, from that aspect of getting it together. I can say that they rallied and they got the curriculum together. They were able to transfer. They're not using Zoom. They're using, I think it's WebEx. It's another system. It's not Zoom.
What is it called?
WebEx.
Cisco. WebEx.
WebEx.
WebEx, yes,
Yeah.
WebEx. They're using WebEx because they, again, they were concerned about some of the concerns that was mentioned with Zoom. They were not using that. And it was also a way that we're having our meetings through that, and sharing information. But from the perspective of the teachers, the challenges I'm having, again, I still have to have meetings with the teachers and get accountability and making sure that they're doing touch points with the students and making sure the parents. But the reality is parents were going through and they were overwhelmed. And I like you and everything, but stop calling me. All right.
I'm calling my phone.
Get off
Stop
my
calling
phone.
my phone. I
Get
love
off
you,
my
but
phone. The kids are right. Parents were saying some interesting things like, you know, like as you said, they were like, you need to come get these kids. So I have been doing a lot of touch points with them and just getting their input. I even put the parents on Zoom to talk about what's our reopen strategy, because we can do all of this stuff. We can open up our doors, but if the parents don't bring the kids, and you know,
they
and
bringing them. They
or they
bringing,
bringing them, or
they
they
bringing
definitely
them
bringing them.
They
kids.
dropping them off with a
Whether
note.
we figure it or not, whether we figure it out or not, they're bringing them.
Honey, let me tell you, it's gonna be some trucks, some cars, some vans that's gonna pull up, and them
That's
kids
what
gonna drop
That's
them
what my
off.
staff is saying. They're like, they're
Stop,
bringing
drop,
the
and
kids.
roll. Stop, drop, and roll.
But the teachers have had to really continue with the curriculum, get the
Mhm.
children prepared. We use creative curriculum, and the teachers have to do teacher strategies. And so they've had to do assessments. They've had to do the lesson plans. They've had to do stuff. And I had to go in and monitor the teachers and see that they actually are putting in the data. The data is there, because I'm like, how are you giving them report cards? How are you doing this?
Oh, that's a whole nother show
Okay.
in
Okay.
itself.
I'm
Because
like, we're
I
not
just
gonna do this.
and I say that only because I have two, right? I have an 8-year-old daughter that was initially started school in the South, so she's already advanced. And then I have a 10-year-old grandson that didn't go to kindergarten. He started in the first grade, so he's for lack of a better term, because I'm still learning the terms and the politically correct thing. He's a little bit behind, right?
Okay. Okay.
So my daughter, she's just like, Mom, I need some books to read.
Okay.
My grandson is like, so Grandma, we ain't got no school. We just oh, that mean I could just lay here all day. I don't have
Oh,
to do
their schedules are off track. Their
That's
schedules
not
are off
what that
track.
means. So I got both spectrums, right? And then I'm trying to work. So that gives me all three spectrums. I got a kid that just feels like, okay, they're gonna take this and run with it because I can do more, I can read more, I can do more. And then I got a kid that's like, I ain't gotta do nothing. We out of school. It's just over. And then there's me that I gotta work. So it has been a challenge in this home.
It really has.
yeah.
It really has. And I just want to say 2 points, and I'll just move for the next person to really put another spin on this. We have our children that have IEPs, and
Hi, I work in that department. Hi.
okay. And so for the e-learning for them, these packets that they came with did not support the children that had those IEP challenges.
Look at my teachers. They like,
And
no.
so, and the teachers was already saying, I'm already, and so now, we had to actually tell the teachers and reach out to the special education department. We need some help here. We have challenges in person. So now e-learning, how are we going to get these children? They cannot do this closure packet and then to continue on with the continual activities. So that was one. And then on a personal note, I have my 11-year-old granddaughter who, for lack of a word, played me, okay? Because I was cooking breakfast, lunch, and snack, making sure she was set up and everything. And she had the Chromebook, she had the iPhone. I seen her and it looked like she was having Zoom meetings and everything, only to get a text that she was 10 assignments out. And she was going, and I'm like, that's impossible. I'm about to ready to fight the school. Only to find out she was watching movies and Netflix. She had it all set up. She was on Messenger with her friends. So I got trust issues. So after she finished every assignment, she has to show me an exit that she sent it. I mean, she gave me crying and everything. I don't know what happened. I sent it. She didn't send it. She didn't do it. So some of these children have showed their true colors through this e-learning, okay? They look the
Absolutely.
part, but they have not been doing it. But guess what? We came down with the thunder. You hear me? And her teacher sent us a text. She got it all in, and she got an A-. She got all them A's, but it wasn't easy because
It
if the teachers didn't let us know, and we were able to find out exactly what she was doing, and seeing that she was sending this stuff off, she probably would have repeated the year. I don't know. But it was just the fact that these children had to really, they gave them a lot of responsibility, but they wasn't ready. Not only wasn't we ready,
part.
but they wasn't ready.
So I can say, and I'm gonna shout her out because I absolutely love my boss. My director, the director, because I work for the SPED department, right? And it's
Okay.
called, we diverse learners.
Okay.
I worked very hand in hand, like for real, for real. I tell people I'm her right side of her brain. I worked hand in hand with the director of the diverse learning department. So when we was like, so when it came down from the upper management, like we're gonna shut down, she called everybody in the SPED department, like, oh no, we need to get this, and this. Get it done. That's why I was like, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna help y'all. And she was like, no, you can't come in because you've already called in sick and said you had a fever. So I couldn't go in. However, when it came down, she was on it. Like, no, we cannot send these kids home for 2 weeks. They don't have any work. We can't let the regular teachers give them the work. They need our work. They need their work. They need more. And when I tell you I've been more busy with the school closure than I was when I was in my office, like, because I'm still calling parents. Like, how's our babies? Because we're K through 12, and we've got 400 plus kids. So I'm still calling those parents, like, are you okay? What does the kid need? Do you have internet? Do you have this? Can we do the IEP meeting? Can we, you know what I'm saying? So I really give my hats off to my boss because she was not playing with these teachers. She was not playing with this COVID, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 10 weeks. We need work for our babies because they will not fall behind because we didn't know. So she was on it. She was on top of it. And then again, our coach that coaches the diverse learning teachers, she was on it. She was like, no, we're not doing this. So the three of us together really made an impact. Them more than me because I'm administrative. However, you know what I'm saying? Being administrative, I had to do stuff and make sure that our kids were okay. So I get that. When you said, the special education people, kids and the kids with the IEPs, that touched home for me because that's what I do. Our babies have suffered through this.
I have two of my
Our babies have suffered through this because they're used. Some of these babies got a para. Now they're at home, and I give it to my parents for this school too. They are still on it. They're still talking to these kids and this, that, and the third, but those parents are not sitting side by side anymore. That makes a huge difference. Yeah, you're on Zoom. Yeah, you're calling your student. Yeah, you're still right there, but that side by side nurturing, they're not getting that. They're not getting that. But I give hats off, real talk, hats off to the school because they have done above and beyond trying to make sure our babies, the diverse learning team babies, did not fall behind. Because I can see it happening quickly. It can happen so fast. So Marquita, so y'all know she on the ALT tour. She is now our new member liaison. What is it? See, I can't never get their titles.
It's
right.
the new member liaison. That's right.
New member liaison. Yeah, I try not to say them because I get them all jacked up. But she's the ALT new member liaison. She deals with our new members. She deals with, all the members right now for 2021. But she's really for the new members and make sure that they get what they need, any questions and all that good stuff. She is a nursing teacher. So she teaches nursing. What does that look like on the adult level?
Oh my goodness. So mind you, I have 4 children.
Oh
Two
yeah,
of-
and then she got babies. Lord Jesus.
yes. 2 are elementary, 2 are high school. 1 is a senior with a hearing impairment. That is my IEP child. He had some support in the classroom for each of his classes because
Okay.
of the hearing impairment. So 2 weeks before everything needed to be submitted, he had F's. And we're like, hold on, what's happening? What's going on? Stephanie, what's going on with your work? What's happening? He's more, he has an issue with motivation. So it's tough to motivate someone who's not motivated, and they don't have to get up and go to school every day. So he did graduate. We got that diploma, which I'm so happy and proud of. I have a sophomore. I have an 8th grader that's coming out of 8th grade. Him, I don't have to motivate him so much. That one, he gets up and does everything on his own. I have to motivate him. Then I have a pre-K.
Oof. Pre-K is enough in
Yes.
itself.
He's IEP as well for speech, and she ain't motivated at all. And then I have to get up and fight with her, and I have to get on with my students. It is a journey. So she's missed a lot of days because what she wants to do is socialize with her friends. She wants to see her friends. That's what that I want to hug my friends. I want to play with my friends. I want to touch my friends. That's what she's lacking. And she is, oh my gosh, she's so lost. And I feel so bad for her because I teach Peds and OB for an LPN program. And I know that children needs to play in order to learn. So that is one of my issues. Plus, I teach adults who are at home with their children. I have one student who has 9 children in her home. Yeah, and
How's she learning? How's she do? How? Okay.
Actually, so she calls me. So with my adult learners, this is basically what it is. I am a support outside of the classroom. So I'm on Zoom for 5 hours, talking to them, teaching them for one class. And then the next class is 4 hours. And then the next class is 5 hours. So it's successions of classes in 5 and 4 hour sequences. So I'm literally on Zoom all day. And they're listening to me all day. And they're like, as soon as I get off, they're texting me, they're calling me, they're emailing me, Miss Marquita, what Miss Marquita, Miss Marquita, I'm so worried. Because they still have to take these standardized tests that are required for the nursing program. Mm-hmm. So my advice to them was to take at least 3 hours of the day and either go to their cars or but somewhere outside of the home so that they can focus and function, hopefully. Yeah. But they still work because most of them are CNAs, so they're working in these nursing homes. With COVID-19, they got a gown up and all this other stuff. So it is so tough to try to tell someone who's an adult how to function through this when I literally don't even know how to function. But this is something that I suggest to help them in order to be able to absorb the information that I give them so that they can move on to the next level, which is very difficult. So it has been a journey. We got the message on the 17th that today, Wednesday, we're not because at first they didn't want to shut our school down. At first it was like, oh, well, we're a nursing program. The state, no. It's still a lot of people coming here, and these people go out home to other situations, and most of them are CNAs. And so our dean, who is MD, was like, oh, no, I'm battling that we close because it's not safe. So 17th, they said, we're closing tomorrow. So gather all the information that we could utilize as e-learning and distance learning, but we're not a distance learning school.
Right.
Had no, it started from scratch. They gave us a 2-week break to
Mhm.
come up with some stuff. No payment, nothing like that. So I'm like, hold on, I'm gonna have to dial up another one of these jobs and go on in and put my mask on. I'm gonna have to do this because I can't work for free because I
can't
have
work for
4
free.
children that I'm caring
Yeah.
for. And so I ended up, we ended up coming together and formulating a plan of Zoom and just going through as if we were in the facility, and then emailing them work to do in the classroom to incorporate. But literally, nursing school is self-taught. You got someone who sits in front of you and talk. But based on our school, we have a bunch of diverse learners. So we have different types of students, not necessarily traditional nursing students. So now I got to conform for my non-traditional students, regardless to what I feel nursing should be. I have to support my students. So some of them think they're my friends. And I'm like, Miss Mark, no, we're not friends. Stop calling me like this. But literally, I try my best to support them in every way that I can. If they have personal issues, I try to redirect them to try to, quiet the noise around them and just focus on what they need to focus on. Like, I didn't pass. What should I do now? You should redirect, figure out what happened, and let's move forward. So it's keeping them grounded, keeping my kids grounded, and myself, because it's a heavy burden to take on everything and everybody. So
what's your youngest?
My youngest is 5.
And she is that preschool?
Pre-K, yep.
Ooh. You know what? I feel, and I'm so glad I didn't have, and it's selfish. I know it's selfish that I'm about to say what I'm about to say, y'all. It's selfish. But I am so glad I did not have a 2020 graduate. They were duped. Okay, so 8th grade, right, is a little bit better than high school.
Yes.
High school, you missed out on your prom. You missed out on the last of everything.
Being able to see your friends for the last time. Because sometimes if you don't live in a district, because my son goes to Curie, he travels to school. So the school bus comes to pick him up because of the hearing impairment. But his friends don't live by him.
Yes. So 8th grade, you guys got another chance. My 2020 graduates that are out there that will listen or see this, you guys got one more. Well, technically, right? Because you can go to college and get several more chances.
Exactly.
But I remember when I graduated, right? Real quick, my mother was like, my mother bought me this autographable dog, but it was, like a pillow type dog, right? This, what do you call it? Stuffed animal. Right?
Yeah.
You could write on it. It came with a pen and a graduate hat, and it was a dog. And she wrote on my dog, 8 down, 4 to go, in college for sure. I was like, girl, I'm not going to college. But just thinking about that, you got 8 down, you graduate, and you good. You will definitely, right? 90%. Definitely have a high school graduation. So you got one more chance.
Yeah.
You definitely got one more chance.
Yeah.
We don't, college is not for everybody. I got a kid that is amazing, but he's not college. That's just not what he is. And then I got a daughter that she's going to graduate with probably a doctorate. Right. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just different with college. But 8th grade, you good. These high schoolers, I'm sorry. As an administrator in a school, I'm sorry.
Sorry, yep. Just sorry.
I'm sorry. You didn't get to go to prom. Like, I'm really trying to get with my AOT team. Like, we need to get these babies to prom. Even if it's in October, November, we need to give these babies a prom.
Yeah.
I remember my prom. It was amazing. I didn't like it. I didn't have a date for neither prom, but that's different. I still got to experience prom. graduation, walking across the stage, all of that good stuff. So I want to talk to my preschool teachers and instructors and directors. Tell me, what is it like to have a preschooler, right? Because these high schoolers, we could be like, be quiet, do this, do that. 8th grade, you know what I'm saying? A certain age group, you can be like, stop, don't do this. We're about to do this. The curriculum is blah, 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 blah. But what about these preschoolers and kindergartners that have been learning through touch, feel, play? You know what I'm saying? They're doing things to learn. How do you turn that into, now we're gonna sit on this computer? Evelyn, tell me how do you turn that? How do you turn that into, we're about to sit on this computer, we're gonna learn on this computer. And I also want to put this disclaimer out because I work for a school. This wasn't our decision. This wasn't anything that the schools did. This was statewide. This came down from the head government that we could not. Because if it was left up to my boss and my school, we'd have been in school the whole time. Like, okay, you're just gonna put your mask on, you're gonna put some gloves on, and we're gonna go to class. But this came down from upper management. This was not the schools, whether it be CPS or whatever state this was not the school's decision to close, okay? I wanna give that disclaimer because so many people was like, well, why y'all just can't go back to school? Because we can't, baby.
Parents like, I'm gonna drop the babies off, and I'm like, COVID out there, COVID.
Yeah, we can't. So
yeah, what are you doing? Stop, shut up, sit down.
Honey, you don't even understand sometimes like that. But anyway, Evelyn, tell us what it's like to turn that, I guess, to turn that hands on off to going to this computer, right? Because I'm on a computer now, baby, and I'm ready to click on something else.
So let me just explain to those that are on and listening who have never even been in the preschool classroom. So our curriculum is play-based. We do teaching strategies, creative curriculum. And so they have different areas of the classroom. They have the block area, they have the dramatic play, where they're dressing up as, community workers. They're acting out things that's going on at home. They're pretending to be mommy, daddy, whatever. They have the art area. They have so many areas where they can use their skills, their likes, their dislikes, and then they're learning rules. They're learning social skills. They're learning play skills because a lot of these kids don't know how to play. So they come to school and we have to teach them how to play. And so we have structure where at a certain time of the day, this is what happens. So we eat breakfast at a certain time, we clean up at a certain time, we play at a certain time, we go outside at a certain time. We have a small group, we have large group where we come together as a whole, as the classroom. So you're going from that to now I'm at home with my siblings or not, and my parents or not, because some of these students are at home with their siblings. I have parents who email me and call me all the time, like I'm at work, I need to put my 12-year-old son, have him get on the computer or whatever. So you're going from structure to some of these kids are going home to non-structure.
No structure.
None at all.
Like none. No bath time, no bedtime, no nothing.
Nothing.
Okay,
but they get up when they want to, they go to bed when they want to. Opposed to coming to school. Now I come to school at a certain time, I do this at a certain time. If I don't want to give up this toy, if I don't want to clean up, there are certain rules. The teachers say certain things to get me to clean up, where at home, if I don't want to clean up, I'm gonna get a spanking or I'm gonna get, so it's just a totally different environment. Yeah. That's first and foremost. So now you have these kids at home with they're just there. And so you're going from play-based to now you're remote and you're sitting in front of, let's talk about that. Our kids didn't get tablets and Chromebooks. The older kids did, the older students did. So now they're doing work on their parents' phones. And then some of the parents are like, we can't even log into certain things to even get the lesson plan. So then it's like, So what are the students doing at home? And then we're sending home things that they can do. We sent home the backpack with some toys and some games, you know, but it's like, it's just not the same. It really is not the same. So now you're going from learning, some for real learning, to half of these kids didn't even, well, none of them got the Chromebooks and the tablets. And then you might have some that do have the tablets at home, but that's not fair for the ones that didn't have tablets. So now we're talking about, what if schools don't open in August and September? Do we have funds to even buy these students tablets or iPads to even work with? Because over the past 3 months, they haven't been. They've been using their parents' phone. So that's the other issue.
Lydia, you are also preschool. Tell me your encounters with these babies that don't have, I guess, the technology, because I went through that too. I'll tell that story in a few seconds, but I didn't have the technology for my two to get on, but they are, again, 3rd and 4th grade. What is it like for these preschoolers and kindergartners that they kind of like just put in okay, you don't have to go dress up today. You don't have to clean the kitchen. What is that like?
So certainly that has been a challenge, like I said before, of them not having the devices. And or if they're in a multiple family, if there are, it's not enough. If it's the parent's phone and I got 3 or 4 children and they're in school age, the preschooler is the last one who's going to get the phone.
Yeah.
And so, because again, let's look at it, their attention span, you giving them the phone, they think they're going ready to look at a YouTube or something. They not think they're going to do work. And so that has been a challenge. We've really had to rally the parents. We have in our school, we have our parent liaison, we call them family workers. And so the family workers had to reach out and get a schedule, each individual parent situation, because it couldn't be a blanket, we're going to call you this set time, because they had different dynamics. We also had to know who needed a device and didn't. One of the things that in our district meetings, that question came up, you know, some of the families have challenges and whatever, but of course they wanted to know numbers. But we do have our budget where, well, we did budget already for school trips, or we can't go on school trips. There are some things that we could get. We couldn't get for all of our children. I have 60 children, 60 pre-Ks. I do have a infant toddler program, but I have 60 pre-Ks, and they were willing to give me like maybe 10 devices. How you do that?
Right.
You don't, it's like,
60 and 10.
Yeah, only 10. That ain't gonna work.
That new math.
Yeah, that's that new math.
That's the new math. You absolutely.
I'm like, I'm not even going to answer to that. That's like a kid. You don't even do that. If you don't have 60, you don't have enough. Exactly. And so you had to come up creatively how to, again, take into consideration. I tell the teachers in the class, if you're doing your large group and you having your lesson plan, you're going to read the book. But if you have lost the kids' attention, put the book away. Okay, you got to figure out some other things. So they definitely had to be creative. Our children wear uniforms. They have to do their morning message, their morning question. So they literally had to tell the parents, listen, we need to make this as similar to what they experience in the classroom setting. Just if we can get 10 good minutes out of them, all right, and they don't run off and do something else. Like someone said, they laying under covers, they
going to the bathroom, they doing all kinds of stuff. Yes.
So if I get 10 minutes, and what has happened, they've done the Zoom where they saw their friends. And I want to concur with the other teacher coach was saying that our curriculum is child-based, it's play-based, it's creative curriculum. The socialization, the problem solving, all of the things, the engagement, how are they going to do these learning centers? I'm talking with my teachers and I'm like, okay, we're going back, we're doing everything. But so how do I tell the kid to keep the mask on? And how do we do social distancing with the kids? Pre-Ks? I'm not understanding this. I know what the regulations and the guidelines said, but have they met my children?
Have
So-
they seen these kids in this school?
I'm not seeing how this is gonna work out. I already see how I kind of know how this is gonna work out.
I'm gonna be picking up more masks that's
Oh,
going on the floor than there's going to
Absolutely.
be
And
on
they're
the
going to
kids'
become
face.
weapons and all kinds of things.
Just
So
before
please,
they come in, because you
figure
good luck
out
with the mask.
how this is going to be. So we've had to kind of, like I said, with the remote and getting them ready. Again, you got the pre-K4s. I'm actually having a graduation. I'm big on graduations. We're doing a
Yes.
drive-by and graduation with them, and we got a whole thing planned for them because we really wanted to. We gave them our certificates for staying home, and because we were shelter in place, we getting released maybe like Friday. We still ain't released, but when we get released, we gave them
Chicago got
certificates.
released and went crazy, baby. But
Yeah,
go ahead.
no,
Turn up.
we still under wraps, but they gave them our certificates for staying home and being good listeners and good. So it's really the relationship with the parents to partner with you. Those parents who like, listen, I'm a essential worker. I have to work. I really can't do this. We really had to be empathetic, and a lot of families have been affected. We lost a lot of families, and we at my site, not my particular site, but my agency, we lost a child to COVID, as a preschooler to COVID, and so it has been quite challenging. I concur with that saying that our schools have rallied and got the kids the stuff that they needed. Could we have done more? Absolutely.
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 But
we
you
could
know
have
what?
done more.
With that being said, I want to say this too. Another disclaimer. We as school administrators, this our first time dealing with this too.
That's true. That's true.
So we were totally bombarded with
right.
all of this. We had no clue what to do. We had
That's
no
what we're saying.
clue.
In spite of what we I hated to say, we was coming from nowhere. We thought we were coming back.
Yes.
We thought we were coming back. And to be in June, and when the governor, I was like, come on, just tell her we ain't coming back. And we still don't.
I
They
said,
still won't say
too
it.
weak
They
enough.
still won't say it. They
Stop
still
too weak
won't
enough.
say it.
Okay, so disclaimer. Hey. We are going back in August.
Oh, you guys, okay.
We are
Okay.
going because our governor, right? Illinois governor got on the news and said we can go back for summer school. But CPS was like, nah, you gotta tell us what COVID doing. We're not about to put all these kids in one room and be okay with that.
Okay.
So CPS opted out. However, they have not, as of yet, opted out of fall or going
Right.
back in fall. They
Right.
opted out of summer school. So
Right.
summer school is virtual, but fall, we should be in school. Excuse me, y'all. Fall, we should be in school, but we will be using PPE the whole way. You have to have on a mask. Kids got to walk down one hallway, up the other. Like it's
Oh,
going
okay.
to be crazy.
Okay.
No, Lori don't be playing that. See, wait, hold on. Is it safe? I'm gonna step out one foot. Doing all
But
that. Come on.
I have to say that on both sides of the spectrum, because I work in that school, because my children go there, I have to say, for me, I want my babies to go back as a parent. As an employee, I'm ready to go back. I miss my okay, so this is outside of the whole COVID thing. I miss my coworkers. I miss, I was the lunch person.
interaction.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I miss that. And I know my kids need that social interaction. They need that.
I'm all for going back as long as it's safe. I'm all for that as long as it's safe. As long as we're not putting nobody at risk, I'm good with it.
Okay, so I'm gonna need you to tell your cousins on 80 something and 89th and Halsted.
I don't got no cousin over there.
They on 89th and Halsted right this second at a whole motorcycle car show something. Okay, it's 1,000 of them. But anyway, I digress. Let's get back. Right?
Let's go to the free testing. Go ahead over there to the free testing.
So I want to bring something in
Socialize.
real quick. Right. But they gonna get
Marquita, can I respond? Makita, can I respond to what you said?
Yes.
I do agree. I do agree that it is time for our kids to get back in their usual learning environment, because as we're all saying, it is very important for our children to interact with kids their age. However, I feel like what this time has shown us is that we could potentially do both. You know, we've struggled a lot with our kids being in school, extended hours, extended days. There's other parts of the world who do, you know, so many days in school and so many days at home. I would love to see, you know, our city and our state do a little bit of both, you know, have our kids, you know, in the classroom for that, you know, that instructional time and that interacting with their peers and teachers, but then give them that space to be able to do some work from home or just have an extra day off from school. I mean, maybe it isn't, you know, the ideal of way of doing it here, but I think our children have shown us through all of this that they can navigate it, they can persevere, they can push through it. You know, we have so many of our children have had supportive families pushing through, you know, them through this and encouraging them. So I think I'm for doing a little bit of in school schooling as well as at home. And I know that may not work for a lot of parents, as you know, we're saying here that, you know, parents are essential workers.
They're going back to work.
You know, they may be single parents, so they have to leave the home. So that might be a struggle, but to kind of offer, I think, some of that flexibility for our kids in the long run, I think it could do, you know, a lot of good, just to kind of have a more relaxed environment when it comes to our kids' education. So yeah, just wanted to sort of add to what you were saying about, ready to go back to school. Because I'm in a place where I'm like, I don't know if I want to go back to work full time. You know, I kind of like, you know.
I'm glad you said that, because I want to bring you in with the whole being the therapist, right?
Yeah.
What is your suggestion for us as, you know what I'm saying, normal people, not that you're not normal, but going back into the workforce, going back into the schools, going back into life? What is your suggestion with all of that? How do we go from home all day, every day, not being able to go outside, not being able to shop, not shop, but because baby, that Amazon was ringing my door every day. But not, you know, how do we go back? How do we mentally prepare to go back?
And that's
what we call normal.
Yeah, that is a great question. And I think we can all agree that normal is no more. Like where we are in our world right now, this is what's normal. And so what I've thought about personally is when I look at what my life was like prior to COVID-19, as many of you probably can agree, I was busy from sun up to sundown. You know, my family would get up, my family would get up about 6 o'clock in the morning, you know, get my husband and I ready, get the kids ready. We drive them to school, drive to work. You know, we pick them up, we have after school programs, we get home, we do homework. It was just like there was never enough time in the day just for us to sit and enjoy ourselves. And then when this happened, when COVID-19 took place, it was like, oh my God, now we're cooking more, we're having more family interactions and activities. We are just so engaged as a family. And so to kind of go back to what the world was before, I'm like, I don't know if that's what I want. I don't know if I want to go back to just being so busy that I don't have enough time, you know, for my family. So I think one thing we could think about is what is working for you now that feels right, that feels comfortable, that feels good, that you do want to keep, and what parts of your world, you know, that you left, you know, pre-COVID-19 that you do want back. You know, there are some parents who like, you know, leaving home to go to work because that's their solitude. They're away from their family. They can kind of like regroup and all of that. But then there's some parents, I think, who have enjoyed the extra time, you know, that you do have, that you may or may not have, that time to just be at home with their children and care for them in the way that you've always wanted to be able to do that. So I think if you can figure out what's the balance for you that works, you know, for yourself and your family, and try as much as you can, being providers, being the breadwinners of our home. This may be a little tricky. And I think we've learned how to be creative, very creative during COVID-19. So how can we still use some of that creativity to, again, be at home and provide the necessary nurturing our family's need, but then still be able to run business kind of as usual before COVID-19 happened, if that makes sense. I think it's a juggling act, it's a balancing act. We may have to do some different things to really figure it out. But as you're talking about that mental health piece, yeah, like I say, for some families and for some parents, their peace and sanity comes from being away from home. Others' peace and sanity may come from being in the home. So it's you have to figure out what works best for me and my household, and try to give you and your household as much of that as you possibly can, if that makes sense.
It absolutely does. I want to give our last remarks, guys, because we are at the 8 o'clock hour. It went so fast. Our hour is up, but I really want to give our last remarks. I want to start with Evelyn because she has the 1-year-old at home, baby. I remember that. I remember, and I'm a grandma too, so I know what that's like. Evelyn, what are your last remarks as to being a teacher, having a 1-year-old at home? What are your last remarks? What do you want them to take away from today?
Is it Francis?
Francis, Francesca, Frankie, we call her all of that.
She kind of just summed it up of what I was thinking. I really appreciate being at home, even though he's a busybody. I've always wanted to work from home, not in this manner. I want the kids to be back at school to learn, because my passion is preschoolers. But at the same time, I agree with, if they can just do a couple days at home, a couple days at school, and then like now we Fridays is off. So we do Monday through Thursday, Fridays off. It's beautiful. I don't have to worry about logging in, I can give my brain a break. So if they could do maybe 2 days at school, 2 days at home, and then that way, the parents can spend time with the kids, or, however. I don't know about the parents that do have to go to work, every day, all day or whatever, but I know for me, it works for me because I love being at home, doing
I think
other
that
things
the
and
workplace should follow suit. You know what I'm saying? Like the workplace needs to follow suit.
Yeah, it does take a lot of your time being at work. You spend 2 hours driving to work, 2 hours driving home, and then 7, 8 hours, some people 10 hours at work, and then you're at home for 3 or 4 hours. Now we're at home all day, and you got some parents like, please open up the schools, but they're not really looking at the bigger picture. And that's spending time with your family and, doing what you have to do. I love this new normal. I don't want to go back outside.
I'm gonna be honest, I've always cooked, but I have cooked more now than ever. The kids like McDonald's what?
Me too. I just cooked before we logged in. I need to go eat.
So really quickly, because again, we are at the 8 o'clock hour. I want you to give your last remarks. Lydia, if you can come on and just give us your last, what is it that you would like for people to take away from tonight's live or tonight's talk show? What is it that you want them to take away from this?
So I want to say that, like, again, we were pushed to come up with a plan that was going to work. We did not know exactly going in, but I want to agree with what I have listened to on tonight, that there were some pros and cons with the e-learning. To take away the things that are working. The reality is that we have different models, home models. They're talking about it in our district, half a days and maybe some flexibility. That may work for some, but I like the idea of having those options so that they were able to do it. And so we definitely, that's across the board. That's for adult learning. That's for children pre-K. I wanted to just say that e-learning is a $5 billion venture. Really, that is something, that revenue, different ways of funding People are creating different curriculums. Those that are that know that skill set, schools really need to look into that. Looking for other funding streams to even have an e-learning presence. So even if they open the doors, they should not abandon all of the school sets and things. Come together, have things where they can work with the teachers, work with the administrators. They talk about a second, third, fourth wave. We need to be ahead of things, have things in place. Don't just go back. Let's just accept that we're not going back to what was, but we are going so further to the future. So definitely take the pros and the cons. What didn't work, let's get rid of it. But what's worked, let's build on that. And so our focus hasn't changed. We're preparing our young learners for their next steps. That didn't stop with COVID, and it's not going to stop in the future. So the e-learning has been challenging, yes, but there has been some benefits. I'm learning Zoom. By the time I complete learning, they're going to go on to something else, by the way. But it has taught us, Zoom
has been our best friend, okay?
Oh, absolutely. So we are learning different things, but definitely e-learning is here to stay. We have to accept it. We have to embrace it. Some of us can really thrive from it, and use it for the best. And to Frances, I want to also say to her from another platform that I'm on, we have to look at the trauma informed, our mental health, our children, our families. Yeah, we're going back to school, but we're going back a little different. And so
absolutely it's going to look different.
I'm hoping that we find a way, whether it be virtual or whatever, but they would get the resources that they need, because this is definitely has impacted our lives. And so we need to get there. And so we got to understand that it may not be showing now, but when they get back into that new setting, some things may start to, come to fruition. So that's my takeaway. Again, I want to thank you for even inviting me, just talking about this topic. It's so, it's just getting it out. We're just going through it. But again, it has been a pleasure just knowing that we're not in this alone.
You're not. Like I said, I'm coming from a person that works in a school and have school-age children. This was all new. This was new for the administrative staff and the administrator staff, as well as the parents. This was absolutely new. This came out of the hierarchy saying, you know what, we are closing schools down because it's too dangerous. This was absolutely something that we all of us learned from. The kids, the school staff, all of us learned big time from this. So Marquita, real quick, if you can give us a real quick snippet of what you want people to take away from tonight. Let us know. What do you want people, because you do teach adults, but it's still a teacher and you still have school-age kids. So as a parent, as a teacher, what do you want us to take away from?
So from a perspective of being a nurse, I just think that we don't want to move too fast. Yeah. The safety component is what we really need to focus on, because no matter what, you take your children back to a school, somebody's asymptomatic and your child may die. Mm-hmm. So that is just being brutally honest and just, laying the cards on the table. So we do want to take, go in little sessions, small. I am so for the half at home, half online, because what that will do is allow my child to have that socialization skill, but still, and it'll help me, because I'm a mother of 4, but that was 3 boys before that little girl. So with that little girl, I am like learning how to take the time out and stop, and let's focus on, I gotta say she pretty today, because if I don't, she gonna be mad, So we need to just take the time out to just take the safety component in it. I'm all for, I can teach online if they can go on clinicals, because clinicals is in smaller groups. But just let's take it slow. Let's not rush things. Let's not put everything in one basket, and let's just move with what works. I'm for that.
Absolutely. And Frankie, I want you to take us out. Give us some therapy. One last words. What do we do?
Yes. What I've been saying to so many parents, so many teachers, so many coworkers, give yourself grace during this time. You were not designed to know how to do this. I've had parents to say, I feel bad because I'm not pushing my child to do their e-learning and they've checked out. I don't know what to do. And I say to them, that is okay. You did not know you were going to be met with this, nor did you know how to navigate this. So give yourself grace. If your child, if we go back to some form of e-learning and your child just say, I don't have it today, join them and say, guess what? I don't have it.
I ain't got it today.
So we're going to do this together. So just give yourself grace. Know that you're not going to know it all as parents. What you can do, pour into your children, give that to yourself, take care of you. We hear this analogy all the time. When you're on the airplane and that oxygen mask come down, you have to take care of you. So make sure you're
taking care of yourself first.
Absolutely. Take care of yourself first so that you're able to take care of those others in your care. But just, I can't say it enough. Give yourself grace. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with your little ones. Be patient with your family. You guys are all doing this together. And the great thing about it, you've done it. So if we were ever in this space again, it might be difficult to go back, but we can do this. Rally around your support systems, your communities, your loved ones, all of that good stuff. Such platforms as this, join the webinars and the Zooms, get that information. But at the end of the day, give yourself grace. Give yourself grace.
I love that. I'm going to say that for the rest of the day. No, more for the rest of the 2020. Give yourself grace.
Give yourself grace.
So ladies, I thank you so much for joining in. Facebook and YouTube, I enjoy you. I thank you for joining in. This has been e-learning. Let's talk about it. It's been amazing to talk to other parents, other e-learners, other teachers and administrators. This wasn't an easy journey, but we conquered it. We conquered it. Yay! So for some of us, school is over for the most part. We got summer school to go, but I promise you it gets greater later. Hold on to your faith. And what you say? Tell them, Frankie.
Give yourself grace.
Give yourself some. Yes. So Frankie said, give yourself some grace. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you all next time. I will be back next week with a brand new show. Brand new people, not show. It's every week. So you are tuned in to The Art of Transparency. I'm your host, Makita Moore. And thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you next week. To all you ladies, thank you so much for sharing your story. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good evening.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.